G'day guys, Takaji Down Under here. What you're looking at is the DDUniverse Ultraman. That's right, Ultraman is going to be canon to the DD universe, but before I talk about his canon connections and all of that good stuff, we need to talk about the custom figure itself. Let's get into the video. Alrighty guys, so as you can see, the base figure used was actually the first release of the Ultra Act SH Figuarts crossover or collaboration piece, the Ultraman from the Ultraman manga. Now, I knew I wanted to use that design ever since I came up with the general idea for the DDUniverse Ultraman, and I'll get into more detail when I do a massive lore video, but all you guys really need to know now is that within Universe, Ultraman here, he still exists as Ultraman, he still uses, you know, all of the Ultraman abilities and whatnot, but when he uses the beta capsule, he gets armor, if that makes sense. I mean, you can sort of think of it like Iron Man in that sense, or just I'll explain it better in the actual lore video, guys, but for now, just sort of know that Ultraman, essentially in the DD universe, is using and wearing armor. So that's why I wanted this general design for my DD universe Ultraman. I knew this one would be perfect because he does look armored up, and it gave me an excuse to really gritty up that paint, give it some nice weathering, some nice dry brushing. So we'll look at that now, we'll look at the paint, and we'll look at the general figure and some of the other changes I've made. Alrighty guys, so taking a closer look at Ultraman, and you can see the changes that I've made to that original Ultra Act SH Figuarts figure. Again, there's been no sculpted changes, all of the changes have been painted. So what I did originally was I just coated the entire figure in a very nice black wash, really. I mean, it was sort of like a mix between blackish and brown, but it was mostly a black wash, and that really just helped elevate all of those details that were present on that original figure. So things like the recessed lines in the helmet there, and these bits on the shoulders there, guys. Another point, like on the back here, you can see all of that detail sort of come up a little more now, and that's all because of that wash, and that'll extend down to the legs and stuff as well. So the black wash really helped bring out all of those fine little intricate details in the sculpt of the figure, and it also subdued the overall color as well. So the original figure, all of this sort of grayish silver was essentially just a flat gray, and the red was also a very, very bright red, or not very, very bright, but it was a bright red. The black wash helped subdue that and sort of taper that down. And then once I did that, it was the usual sort of mech robot fare of just some dry brushing and some edge highlighting. So I got a silver dry brush, and I just did some very, very subtle, almost hard to see sort of battle damage specks on a lot of these sort of metallic plates and stuff. Again, I'll do a proper lore video at some point, but in the universe, in the DD universe, this is all armor, this is all external armor that Ultraman has. So it's all sort of supposed to be used and you protect the actual character itself, so it's going to get all scratches and dents and whatnot. And again, this design really does help replicate that. And you can see, so you've got more of that sort of silver and stuff on the thighs there, more dry brushing and stuff on the arms and the gauntlets. Just all over the actual figure itself is that silver sort of dry brushing, and then paint chipping sort of look. See some of that on the back of the helmet there. The camera focuses on that. So yeah, all of that sort of stuff done to bring out the sort of armored plated look of Ultraman. Then the other final, more or less major change that I made was adding all of this gold trim to the character. So all of the gold on this figure, every single bit of gold has been painted. Now that was done with a Gundam marker, and then again, once that is all dried, I just give it a top coat to seal it in. But that was also done to, again, sort of really emphasize the mechanical nature. It's sort of like armor. It's a little bit inspired by Iron Man, and then you can sort of see that in the overall design of the Ultraman itself. I feel like the Ultraman itself was sort of inspired by Iron Man, but the paint scheme, the gold definitely was as well. And you can just see how that sort of looks there. So gold underneath that chest plate there, and then a lot of the straps and stuff I really wanted to be gold because I didn't want them to look like a sort of faux leather. I did want it to look like armor, if that makes sense. So you've got sort of gold in the torso there, a little bit on the hips and the thighs there, some gold sort of on the boots of the character itself there as well. And then the most important sort of gold detail was just on the chin of Ultraman there. That's actually supposed to sort of almost look like a beard. I mean, the design itself is sort of already there, so trimming that in gold supposed to kind of make it look more like a beard on the character, because in universe, you know, he is however many years old. He is an older sort of universal being in the universe. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. The gold's there and it looks very, very nice. So that's Ultraman. That's the general sort of paint that I've done for Ultraman. Again, in universe, it's sort of like so it's still Ultraman, but when he uses the beta capsule, he gets the armor on him. So that's the easiest way to sort of explain it there. Now, let's take a look at those accessories. Here we have a quick overview of all of those accessories that original Ultraman figure had. I've gone ahead and painted all of them. So this chest piece here, that's been painted up. This one just sits on the chest when you want to get Ultraman's arms closer together, but that's been painted up the same way. You've got that sort of dry brushing, you've got the wash in there, you've got the gold in there. So that's essentially just the same as the other armor palette there, right? Now the alt hands, these are all very cool. These are more sort of dynamic hands. They've just got that wash on it and then that dry brushing. It's the same with the fists there, so we won't really show those. Now, these bigger sort of gauntlets here, these are used for the specium ray there. So I painted up both, however, you only ever really need to use one. They do have that gold trim on the end there. And then again, same wash, same dry brushing. So that's the same for both of those there. And then of course, if you've seen the anime or you've read the manga, you know Ultraman has these sort of energy slash effects. That's been painted up the same way, same wash, same dry brushing, gold trim there, and I left the sort of blade energy piece on those as well. But the main piece is this specium ray. So the only paint I've done on that is just adding a little bit of gold throughout the actual effect itself. Now I think the effect itself is a little weak. I don't really like the effect, but if you've got it, you might as well use it. So I'll sort of create a reason for why there's the gold in there, but essentially it was just a sort of an excuse to sort of give one of these effects just a little bit more gold, and I think it does actually look pretty nice. I might go ahead and repaint over it because over time it has sort of started to chip. But that's it. That's all Ultraman's got for accessories. Alrighty guys, taking a quick look at that articulation just in case you're curious. You've got two joints in the head there. Both of those are bull joints. This one in the neck is actually a little bit of a swivel joint as well at the top there. But those two joints working in tandem, you can get Ultraman looking all around, which is very nice. There's two joints in the ab section there as well, one in the upper chest, one in the lower chest. So Ultraman can crunch and bend and swivel if you need. A lot of movement in that shoulder there, in that sort of, it's a smallish joint, but you can get a lot out of it. You've got a double sort of ball joint at the base there, and a hinge here. Swivel at the bicep, double bend at the knee, but you don't get the best range. It's more like 90 degrees there. Swivel and hinge at the wrist. And I do have that energy effect in there, just so you guys can sort of see what that looks like on this character as well. And then onto the hips. So drop down for the hips, ball joints as well. So you can do all that sort of fancy stuff. There is a very slight sort of swivel in the actual upper thigh there. Double joint at the knee, but you're not getting the best movement out of that. And then unfortunately the ankles are actually pretty limited. So because of the way the character is designed, the front sort of shin guard prevents you from moving his foot up, which actually makes posability really hard. That's something that the second figure actually fixed. Now you do have a hinge at the toe as well, and a tiny bit of back and forth movement. So articulation isn't perfect, but it is serviceable for an Ultra Act and Ultraman figure. Alrighty guys, and for our size comparisons, here we have the DDUniverse Ultraman compared next to another member of the DDUniverse and the channel mascot itself, the DDUniverse Mechagodzilla. Now, on the left there, we also have the SH Figuarts first appearance Shin Ultraman. Imagine within the DDUniverse, this is what Ultraman looks like. He looks like this here, and then he uses the beta capsule, and then he gets powers in his armor, and he looks like the DDUniverse Ultraman there. And that about wraps it up for today's video, guys. What do you think of the DDUniverse Ultraman? Is bringing Ultraman into the DDUniverse a good idea, or should I just keep him out of it? Let me know down in the comments section below. I've been Daikaiju Down Under, and I'll see yous all in the next video.